class. I'm going to get straight to the point today. This is Jazz 313. We're doing an all-American consensus from each state. Today I'll be recognizing the Electoral College of Jazz. For those of you who know what the Electoral College is, I really don't know what it is, but I got a lot of friends who are social studies teachers. I can understand how could one win the popular vote and lose the presidential through Electoral College. As you see on this right here, some states like California have 55 delegates. States like North Dakota have 3. So some states I was hard pressed to find someone from jazz, but let me start the show. Again, from the state of Michigan, where I will start from, you're talking about the great Tommy Flanagan. You're talking about the great Kenny Burrell. You're talking about Marcus Belgrade, Kenny Cox, Rodney Whitaker, Robert Hurst, the McKinney family, the Carter family, James and Regina Carter. But that's where we're going to start. I'm going to take you through every state in the union. We may go over, like I say, I hope you stay with us. If this is something you like, I am a jazzaholic. That's my new term. This is what we do out of passion. We want to spread the goodwill of jazz and the goodwill of understanding this American form of music that was created in New Orleans in the slave fields, come out of the Congo, through Detroit, and all over the world. But this is a clarinet that said to me, my friends down at Du Michel's, I brought this. This is a Benny Goodman that he used somewhere in Detroit. So I just want to let you guys see this right here. I don't play any instrument. My voice is my instrument, telling you about this good music. In the back, you're going to be listening to this bebop. But let me just start by each state. New York, Wynton Kelly, the Weather Report Group, Kenny Washington, drummer, Richard T. piano, John Patitucci, bass, Carmen McRae, singer, Tito Puente, Kenny Drew, Steve Gadd, Eric Gale, Lena Horne, Cab Calloway, the great Bud Powell, Sonny Rollins, Cedar Taylor, Roy Haynes, Buddy Rich, Duke Ellington, as well as Tony Bennett. Out of the great state of New York, we already hit all 50. We did 2 so far. The next one is Idaho. The great Gary Peacock. We lost him during COVID. A longtime bass player with my main man, Keith Jarrett, out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. We're going to go to Maryland, Lester Boyd, Connecticut, Horace Silver. That's what you're listening to in the background. You should get your pencil and paper because I'm going to go through a lot of names. Out of the great state of Missouri, the great Pat Metheny. He was born in Lee Summit, Missouri. Clark Terry, Miles Davis, Glenn Miller and the Swing Crew. I could just spend a whole week on Philadelphia. McCoy Tyner, Kenny Barron, John Coltrane, Louisiana. I could spend another year there. Fletcher Henderson, King Oliver, Jelly Roll Morton, the Neville brothers, the Neville family, the Batiste family. They have a young boy right now. He won like 6 or 7 Grammys this year. John Batiste. That's genetic. We talked about that Punnett Square, that genetic of jazz. But in Indianapolis, the great Freddie Hubbard, Wes Montgomery. In Illinois, Kurt Elling, Herbie Hancock, Ramsey Lewis. I really don't call Lou Rawls a jazz guy, but I call him a jazz soul singer. He's beyond category. Spent 3 years with him. Just a great man out of Illinois. I just want to throw that in. In Georgia, James Moody. I consider him my father of jazz. My father, my surrogate father. Had a chance to spend a week with him when I was a younger guy, and all throughout, every time he come to Detroit, I would go and talk to him, and I had a relationship, formed a relationship. He played with Muddy Waters down in St. Louis. Another one, Ray Charles out of Georgia. Art Tatum from Toledo, Ohio, piano player. Nat Adderley from Florida. From North Dakota, Peggy Lee. Wyoming, jazz saxophonist, a young guy. Christopher Banks. That's the only one that I can put in front of you that I've heard and listened to. So this music is everywhere. Idaho, Gary Peacock. North Carolina, there's just so many. Nina Simone. Alabama, Mississippi, goddamn. Nina Simone is just the oldest monk. John Coltrane, Portland, Oregon. a female bass player, Esmeralda Spalding. She's a bass player. She's been in Detroit. In Colorado, David Grusin. Another one out of Florida, Nat Adderley. He had a brother, Cannonball Adderley. Just out of the state of Florida. So many other ones I could have said out of the state of Florida, but for the sake of time, I can't name them all. This is electoral college. Obviously, New York, Michigan, Illinois, California, because of the people. You know, in California, you got 50 million people. In North Dakota, you got half a million. So, I don't want to just give, like, I think the electoral college, I don't understand it. But, you know, it's in place. This is Jazz 313. If you like what I'm doing, click, subscribe, and share. The next one out of Hawaii, Arthur Lyman and Don Ho. Don Ho, he sung everything, but his heart was in music. It was into jazz music. I remember out at the Waikiki Outrigger. I used to go listen to him every night. He's there, but Bruno Mars, I mean, he's not jazz, but Hawaii, they bring in the funk. South Carolina, Dizzy Gillespie. Chris Porter. I mean, Dizzy Gillespie, I don't have to even say too much. The originator of bebop. Oklahoma, Howard McGee. Cecil McBee. Wayman Tisdale, basketball player, died of some type of cancer young, but he played bass, a great guy. Texas, Jason Moran, Roy Hargrove, the great Cedar Walton, the Crusaders, Joe Sample, Wilton Felder, Sticks Cooper. I mean, it's just, you know, down in Houston, the jazz scene is just really popping. You're talking about in Oklahoma, Charlie Christian. We just going through all the states. You know, don't call me and say, hey, you left out my uncle. I'm not trying to leave anybody out. There's just so many of them. This is the consensus All-American Electoral College Review of Jazz in America. We did Tokyo. We did the world. I just want to just bring it home from each state because I'm reaching every state. I'm big in Japan. I don't know how that happened, but I'm going to take it. We got a lot out of London, England. But I just want to just Jay McShane, Louisiana, Louis Armstrong, Jelly Roll Morton, Peter Fountain, Wynton Ellis, Bradford Marcellus, Harry Connick, Kermit Ruffin, Dave Baxter, Trombone Shorty, David Jeremy Davenport, just to name a few. West Virginia, Garland Wilson, Montana, George Winston. Yeah, I didn't know he was born in Hart, Michigan, but he spent a lot of time in Miles City, Montana. You can go to Miles City, Montana, in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to say it's nowhere. I play basketball up there, but it is just nowhere. You can go find a jazz club in Miles City, Montana. That's where George Winston was raised. In Washington State, Ernestine Anderson. Please write her down. I don't know how she's overlooked. Ernestine Anderson was a great jazz vocalist, you know. Also from the state of Washington, you know, the great Les McCann, Ray Charles. There's a lot of them come out of Washington. You know, Jimi Hendrix, he's not really jazz, but my point is we want to celebrate all genres of music. I'm a jazzaholic. This is Jazz 313, the Electoral College edition. You know, we got Benny Goodman's clarinet here, trying to get that spirit. We're in the back, listen to old school bebop. Right now, that's some James Moody in the background. I kept it down. Even in Alaska, Vince Giraldi. Out of Virginia, Ella Fitzgerald. In Maine, Leonard Beale. Arizona, I didn't know Charlie Mingus was from Arizona, but the great bass player. I never say who is the best. Joe Sample, we talked about him. Horace Silver out of Connecticut. John Lewis, he was one of the founders of the Modern Jazz Quartet out of New Mexico, born in New Mexico. Out of Kansas, the great Charlie Parker, Count Basie. Nebraska, Steve Turre. He played with Roxanne Roland Kirk. Glenn Miller, he's out of Nebraska also. He plays some of that old swing music. Trumpet player out of Providence, Rhode Island, Bobby Hackett and Jeffrey Osborne. Jeffrey Osborne, he come from a musically inclined family. I know there's many more in Connecticut. But again, this is Jazz 313, the Electoral College edition of jazz. We're going through every state. We talked about Maine. Chick Corea out of Massachusetts. The great, oh my God, Mose Ellison. I don't know how I forgot about him. He's out of Mississippi. When you get to the city, you better have some cash. Listen to that song. Doc Cheatham out of Tennessee. Pennsylvania, we talked about Kenny Garrett. Kenny Garrett is from Detroit, but Keith Jarrett is from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Kenny Barron, McCoy Tyner, Philly Joe Jones, the Heath brothers, Jimmy and Percy Heath. Out of California, Dave Brubeck, Eric Dolphy, Chet Baker, Art Pepper, Dexter Gordon, Paul Desmond, and Gil Evans, amongst the other stars. W.C. Handy out of Alabama. Just great. W.C. Handy, American original. American original. From Kentucky. Kentucky, some people think I was born in Detroit. I was born in Louisville. I never ever seen Lionel Hampton, but it's Laura in the family that he's some kind of relation. I don't know. We didn't get any money. I didn't get the music talent. But he's out of Louisville, Kentucky. Again, thank you for letting me take your time. I hope I educated you. And this is for my Jazzaholic fans. This is a electoral college version of jazz all over the state of Michigan. We hit Wisconsin. I think I left Wisconsin out. But out of Wisconsin, the great Al Jarreau, as well as the Ink Spots, they out of, I think I hit every state. I know I hit every state. That's the only one coming to my mind really, really quick. But Al Jarreau, I mean, he's a lyricist. Out of Tennessee, another one I could have put in, Gil Scott-Heron. You don't know if you call him jazz. Another one out of California, I don't know how I forgot, Joshua Redmond, but his daddy Dewey Redmond was born someplace else. Joshua Redmond is holding the flame of music. There's so many of them holding the flame of music. You need to support this music. This music is American music. This is the music that we created. This is America. This is the country that, people talk about I'm going back to Africa, I'm going back. Look, I ain't going nowhere. But this is my grandfather's flag. He was in World War II. My dad was in the Korea War. I am American, even with its problems. Jazz is our creation. You cannot deny the greatness of jazz. We're going to ride you out with the music of James Moody again until we meet again. Thank you very much.